Hello, everyone. Today is my birthday, which means I am officially 23 years of age. I'm astonished. I was astonished 5 years ago when I turned 18. I can't believe it. I'm now 23. I can vaguely remember some of my birthdays, but let me try and run them down. When I was 4 years old, I remember having a Barney picture cake. Now, the picture cakes all the picture cakes I've ever had was always large, like a gigantic square, and in the middle there was a picture of a certain character or certain show, and then for like a thick layer, sorry for showing my airy arms by the way, but for a thick layer on the edges, there was just this beautiful frosting. And around the waist of the cake, there was this beautiful blue ribbon. It wasn't inedible, but it felt classy just to have it. Moving on, um, so back then I was really enjoying Barney and well, Barney the dinosaur. I'm sure all of you guys know that by now. If I just say Barney, you guys know, oh, it's Barney the dinosaur. Children don't really watch Barney these days, but back then I was really into it. I still have some Barney plushies from the old days. But anyways, I really remember that specific moment where I was outside. Then I remember the cake and I even have pictures of it. So of course I have a lot of memories, but just without looking at the pictures, I can remember some moments of that party. Then what else? My sixth birthday, 2008. I remember telling my class what happened the day after because my birthday was on a Sunday, and every Monday you had to tell what happened during your weekend. Now, no one sang for me. No one said happy belated birthday. No one even said happy birthday. So, yeah, it was quite the experience. I never liked school, but grade R was one of my worst years. And I remember on on Sunday on my birthday, I remember I had a Superman picture cake. Yes, I loved Superman too back then. And moving on from that, my 2009 cake was an alien cake. It wasn't a picture cake, it was an alien cake. I think it was supposed to look like some kind of large spaceship. And I remember that birthday, we had the party during the night, and as a gift, I received this Spider Man pajamas, which had this net. It looked like wings, like black wings under the arms, but it's actually just a net to represent spider webs. And I really enjoyed that pajamas for a while. Anyways, on my cake, there were these large aliens. You put them in the water and they grow. I don't have those aliens anymore. I threw them years later, but it was kind of cool to have because you can't really find that specific toy anymore. So that's just really interesting to just have it. But moving on from that, um, 2010. I remember some moments of 2010. I was great too. And I remember for my lunch, instead of taking any food, any sandwiches like I normally would, I took these sweets. They came in these triangular prism plastic bags, and they were really small. They looked like Smarties. They were not Smarties, but they looked like them, just smaller Smarties. Um, and I know there's a name for them, but I kind of forgot it. But regardless, I remember sharing some of these sweets with this one class girl of mine, and she asked me if I'm a friend, and I was like, yeah. And then towards the end of the day, I had to give out my chips. Well, I don't know if this happens in other countries, but it's, I would say, mostly tradition to give out stuff on your birthday. For example, it could be a party pack which consists of a bunch of like goodies inside a cute plastic bag. It can be chips, it can be a chocolate. Just giving out something is just really great. And most of the parties, most of my birthdays, I remember giving out stuff. And um, I remember for this day, I gave out chips. But the teacher asked me to call someone to help. And I remember the girl who I spoke to in lunch break, who I shared these chocolates with, these small sweets with. I remember she said, "I'm a friend," and then I said no. I said that mostly because I was afraid that everyone will make it a big issue. Because here's the thing: a boy and a girl being friends. Come on, guys. That's such a scandal. It's a scandal. Even back then, I was afraid to even say that because I just could not imagine the backlash. Okay. Wow. But no, at the end, we still gave out. Both of us still gave out the chips. It was popcorn. And then 2011. I never liked 2011. I had a very, very mean teacher for 2011. And let me just say that I can't remember what I gave out to my class, but I think I did give something. And for the cake, well, okay, wait, going back, I think in 2010, I had a Dragon Ball Z picture cake. That's what I can vaguely remember. Anyways, for my 2011 cake, my sister baked it, and it was this beautiful, so super sweet cake. It had this green frosting, which was meant to represent grass, and on top of the cake there was this plastic fence all around, and then there was this large tiger. And the cupcakes that my sister also baked featured farm animals. And I still have some of those animals underneath my desk. I have to find it. It's in a bag full of plastic animals. But, anyways, moving on from that, the cake was so good. Wow, the cake was so good. Um, and when it came to my, I would say, 2012, I can't remember what I gave the class. Really can't remember that much. But I do remember the cake. I think it was possibly Dragon Ball. I think it was Dragon Ball. Um, I'm just trying to remember now. It's kind of hard to remember all of this stuff. Yeah, Dragon Ball. Hmm. Anyways, yeah, it's weird because I had Dragon Ball Z twice. It was also a picture cake, still a picture cake, a lovely picture cake. And I uh, really remember getting this set of cars as a gift. Now I can't find the rest of the cars. I know I still have them, but it was this set. I don't know if anyone else also has this car. So it's Marvel. It says 2011, but I got this in 2012. I remember. Um, Now, not a big Marvel lady, but um, yeah, Marvel. I have like a five set of cars, and I just need to find the rest of the cars because they all pretty much look perfect in perfect condition. So yeah, that's what I remember. And then for my 2013 cake, I can't remember that much of the party, but I remember it was a Naruto picture cake. Yes, ladies and gents, I had a Naruto picture cake. Wow, this was so cool. I was really, really into Naruto when I was younger, and at the time there was airing Naruto, but they were airing the early episodes, not Naruto Shippuden, which I had a game of back in 2013, I think, or 2012. I can't remember now, but since I had the game, which takes place years after what was being shown currently, I had the knowledge. I had like superior knowledge. And I remember I would tell my friends what would happen, everything that would happen in in the game. And honestly, it felt like I was so smart. Okay. So that cake I remember, and 2013 was such an interesting year. When I think about it, I remember orange evenings. I remember like this wonderful time. Like in school, it was horrible. I never liked it. Okay. I remember underperforming compared to my previous year, which I was taking way more seriously. But then in 2013, I just wasn't performing as much, and well, wasn't performing as good as I was back in 2012. But still, when I look back at it, I think 2013 was such an interesting year. It had so many interesting and good moments that I can completely ignore all the negative aspects, because there were plenty of negative aspects. I was even in a little controversy in class because someone stole one of my orals, my Afrikaans orals. I can go more into detail of that another time, but moving on, 2013 was just a year filled with happiness and also a bunch of negative stuff, which I try to ignore. 2014 came. I never liked 2014 either. It's so weird because 2014, I remember most of the days were bright, sunny. I can remember some aspects of me in school and my birthday. I remember on my birthday, I received a train set. Yeah, a lovely train set. I still have the set, but it doesn't work. And like the party was midday, and I remember having a Simpsons picture cake. Yes, the Simpsons. So that was pretty cool. And my sister also gave out a large rice paper picture of the Simpsons. So that was kind of cool to have. Anyways, I also remember buying, I would say wasting money on this one toy. I still have it in my drawer, by the way. It's a wall racer. I don't think anyone has ever heard of it before, but a wall racer was basically this car, this remote control car, which you can race on the walls and the ceiling. And I only used it a few times that day and never looked back. I still have it in my drawer. I know the car is in good shape. I don't know about the remote control because obviously if you leave batteries in any device for a long period of time, it's going to get rusted. So I'm sure the controls are possibly damaged, but still the controls felt really good. I really liked the controls. Plus the control was really fat. Like a large piece of chicken. That's how big it was. So moving to 2015. Now 2015 was a surprise because I never expected to get a picture cake. And this picture cake was Minions. I never expected that. I remember that day, my birthday day, I gave out chocolates. This was a problem. Now, I wanted to give out chocolates, one type of chocolates only. Now, when my mother ordered the chocolates, she couldn't get two boxes of the chocolates because in one box you will get like 18 or 16 chocolates or something like that. Quite a low amount. So my mother ended up getting two boxes of different chocolates. This is a problem when you're giving out because children, I know, do not like having this kind of mixed gifts. Okay, so as I was giving this one chocolate, which is called Lunch Bar, I also had this other chocolate known as PS. I personally don't like PS. Just on Friday this week I was eating, but it's not my favorite kind of chocolate. I hate it. Regardless, a lot of children in my class always liked PS. And you know how horrible I felt to give certain children PS and to give other children lunch bar. It's like I was just imagining what children would say about me. Like just imagine that. I felt so horrible. But I did give the cool kids some of the PS. I did give them that because I had a feeling that they would want it most of all. And wow, I can't believe it back then. I never liked that. I was so disappointed. And The next day I did not come to school. But on that day, I remember on my birthday, I had a Minions picture cake. And what else? I also, a few days before, got a pet bird. Yes, a pet budgie. And unfortunately, the budgie did not live long. He died like less than a month. I don't even know how he died, but it's just so tragic, really. So yeah, that was the party I remember. And in 2016, I can't remember I can't even remember what cake I had. Nor in 2017, 2018, I never had any party whatsoever. That was the time when I dropped out of school, and that was a time when I was like, okay, my life is completely disrupted from the norm. So, I'm not a scholar anymore. I'm just a dropout student, you know? I'm someone who dropped out, and um, obviously I felt like a bit of a teenager that year, more of a teenager than any of the other years, because I was I was really enjoying, going on dating sites and just being a teenager. But on my birthday, I remember just, I think, having a small cake. That's it. But I never had any like cutting or blowing the candles. None of that. Okay, that was all gone from 2018. 2019, I can't remember. I just can't remember. 2020, I can't remember either. Okay, it's so weird. 2021, I remember some of it. I got chocolates. Filmed, I actually have a vlog on this channel, by the way. So you can check it out. But 2022, I can't even remember that. I think I just got like a regular cake. See how hard it is to remember the stuff that's recent, but I can remember things from like decades ago. It's so funny. It's so funny, really. Anyways, last year I had a chocolate cake, delicious chocolate cake. Wow. So rich and chocolatey. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Oh yeah, on my 21st birthday, I had a Lord of the Rings themed cake and a themed birthday. It was kind of cool. No, really cool it was. It was really cool. Anyways, that's about it for this long video. I'm sorry for wasting your time talking about my past. Um, anyways, have a wonderful day. Bye.